Welcome to the Humans and Earth podcast. We bring you inspiration and practical resources for healing our planet and ourselves. It is time for soulful contributions that regenerate life on Earth.
I'm Helen Claire Harmon, a thought leader and teacher who believes we're ready to renew Earth and heal ourselves in the process. Welcome to today's episode. Welcome to the Humans and Earth podcast. I am so delighted today to talk with Rachel Pfotenhauer. She is an expert in direct communication with Earth, and I'm also grateful to know her personally. Rachel holds a master's degree in counseling, and she's also a licensed professional counselor, as well as a psychic, a theta and body intuitive practitioner, and a channel of Earth. Working both remotely and in person in California and sometimes Colorado and Hawaii, she channels Earth's healing energy to assist clients with health problems. She also offers classes and retreats that mentor participants in connecting to Earth energy and consciousness. Her website is vastearth.com. Welcome, Rachel. So happy to have you here. And I would love you to begin by telling our listeners, who are probably people who are themselves interested in connecting to Earth and seeking their next steps of contribution, about how you got into this process, this work you do of connecting directly to Earth.
Well, first I want to say thank you, Helen, for having me here. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about this. How I got into connecting to Earth started probably almost 20 years ago, in that I was in graduate school getting my degree in counseling. And I was with a friend. We were in a cohort session and we were in a gas station, and she pulled out a card from those business racks of a psychic and said, hey, we should give ourselves a gift to go to a psychic for graduation. And on this on the card was this photograph of this woman, and it gave me such I had this resonance that occurred. And during my graduate program, I kept thinking there's got to be a stronger way of healing people. I think talk therapy is really a great place to begin, but I think that there's other things that could really accelerate that process of healing. And there's so many great modalities out there. And that was on my mind a lot. And then I saw this business card, and I couldn't get this woman's image out of my mind for months and months, 6 months. And I called up my friend back 6 months later, and I said, you wouldn't happen to have that woman's card? And she did. And so I booked an appointment and walked in, and the first thing she said to me was, we've been waiting for you for 6 months. And I thought, who's we? Because I was very new to this. And she's the one that really mentored me into cultivating my intuition. And at that point, I started working with the angels and the guides. And I combined that with my counseling experience and would work with people doing a hybrid of intuition and counseling, and straightforward counseling, and then also straightforward readings. And about 5 years or so, I was meditating, and I had an experience. I'm going to keep this part brief, but it's important into how I connected to Earth. I basically jumped time and space and went into the oneness, the God experience. And had all these experiences of universal truth, right? It was just being in that oneness and having all that experience downloaded and experienced. And in that, I got one of the main reasons why we come here is to connect to Earth consciousness, to be very deeply in an intimate relationship with her, and to be in an intimate relationship with our soul. And we've been disconnected for years and years and years. in the process of coming back into my body, I saw souls lined up as far as the eye could see, excited to come here. There was an urgency to it. And as I got, basically, I felt like I was zipped up into my body. I had this profound appreciation for Earth and for being here on Earth in this dense form and in density. So I'm going to speak a lot about density today. And Earth is she is density. The trees are dense, the ocean, our form, the dogs, cats, we're all energy, and we're all dense energy. And it's beautiful. And for us, I believe, to really expand and evolve, we have to embrace and embody that density, that energy of that density. And in doing so, we connect to Earth. So I had that experience, and then about 3 days later, I was out meditating in my backyard, and I heard a new voice. And I said, "Who's this?" And she said, "This is Earth, and I have something to say to you." And what she had to say was so profound to me that I took to a cabin up on the North Coast in California and channeled a book that I hope will be published here soon. And it's basically her clarion call that she needs 7 million of us to deeply connect to her consciousness. And because that heals her. And how that heals her is basically how she heals us. So when I channel, people come in, I do this over the phone now and on Skype more than anything, or Zoom, is her energy is all about releasing density. So I want to speak about density in a different way. We have everything's energy, right? Everything is connected. We have our physical body, and then we have all these energetic bodies, the etheric, the mental, emotional, spiritual body, and our soul or oversoul. Mm-hmm. Density is the stuck energy based in fear and trauma from our current lifetime and all our other lifetimes. When one channels Earth energy, that energy clears that density in the soul and in the energetic bodies and in the physical body. So there's lots of protocols out there in healing, and the work I do isn't just about healing physical, it's emotional, like if you have PTSD or anxiety, but it's also about expansion. Like if people come in that don't have any physical illness, they just really want to connect and expand, because when you connect to Earth energy, it exponentially expands you and puts you into that 5D experience faster. But what Earth energy does, instead of just focusing on the physical form, you focus on the soul and all the energetic bodies, which then heals the physical form faster. Because you're just, instead of it being acute healing, where you're just focusing on the liver or the kidney or even the meridians, you're clearing out all the density, all that energy that's around the body and in the soul that eventually really affects the body. And if you clear that up, the physical body heals much faster. So when we connect to her, that's what she does for us. And that's what we do for her. So I want to speak to a moment about when we connect to her, not only do we feel this healing take place, which brings us many things, which I'll get to, is it gives us a lot of peace because it clears the fear. When we connect to her, we think about, most of us have been raised to think about healing Earth by like cleaning up Earth, right? Picking up the garbage, the plastic, eating organic, which are all very, very important things to do. But it's in a way like the way a doctor will look at a body who's sick. It'll just look at that one area that's sick. So when we look at healing Earth, she is inviting us to look at her, healing her in other ways than just her physical form. Although if that's where your passion is just healing her physical form, by all means, that's wonderful. and she appreciates that. But we could take it another step further. And when we connect into her and recognize her as consciousness and give her our loving attention, then we clear her energetic bodies. We clear her soul, because she is wounding too, which we have done to her. Yeah. So our global consciousness of fear has damaged the energetic grid that supports Earth. She says 1% of all our population is all it will take to help move her towards balance. So as we give her our love and support, that energetic grid is restabilized and she moves to balance, which then in turn heals us and the species. So it's very easy to connect into her. The benefits of connecting into her. So if people are watching this podcast, I know I'm speaking to the choir here. They're obviously into Earth. And they're probably already advocating for her. There's so many ways to connect to Earth. What happens when you connect into her, if you have an intuitive sense, that blossoms. And you literally, depending on how you intuitively connect, start feeling, hearing her, sensing her, know her in your daily life. And you cultivate, you develop more peace, you develop more abundance. And it's the abundance I'm talking about is the internal abundance. So there's external, which is, can provide, comfort. But it's really the internal abundance that's so important. And that's what she provides, is internal abundance. And it's that self-awareness, it's that self-acceptance. And it's that equanimity and that equilibrium that gives us that daily peace. It gives us that serenity that's so valuable when the external world is rocky, right? And then she gives us strong health and does build the immune system. Mm-hmm. So that's what connected into her. That's how I connected into her. So I channeled this book, and that was her clarion call, is that she really wants us to see her as a conscious being and to be in partnership with us, and that there's benefits for both of us. That's how I came into her.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful account of your process. I think one of the things that I most appreciate about your work is the way that you emphasize that this is a partnership between humans and Earth, and there's vast benefits for both. I also really loved what you said about the fact that souls come here in part to be in partnership with her. That's an awareness that has dropped in for me much more fully in the last year or two. Largely, I think, because of my learning from you and from Jaylene Tracy, who's also a guest on this podcast. But that really is one of the core ideas in my work, that as we recognize that we are here specifically to be in partnership with Earth, and of course with other humans, and that's a beautiful, complex, multi-way partnership. But as we recognize that we are here to be in partnership with Earth, everything can shift on this planet.
It does. And I have to say, I'm blown away by the shifts that I see in people. I mean, I've been doing mental health for 20 years, and there's some good modalities out there. And I've never seen anything as rapid as the healing that happens, like with anxiety and PTSD, is with Earth energy. It's mind-blowing. Yeah. And it's so easily available. I mean, my work, I'm an amplifier of her energy, but you can do it on your own.
Yeah. So what do you recommend for people? I think a lot of people are starting to get a sense that repairing the human Earth relationship and restoring or regenerating Earth is about way more than recycling and what kind of car you drive and carbon emissions. I mean, those things are tremendously important, but we're starting to get a sense that that's sort of the tip of what we're working on. So for listeners who want to experience something of what you're talking about, where do you recommend that people begin?
Okay, so first of all, you could connect to Earth anywhere. You can connect to Earth in a prison cell. Everything is made of Earth, right? Plastic's made of Earth. So you can connect anywhere. If you're outside, great. Earth has an insanely high frequency. And so she increases your frequency. So in connecting, there's many different ways. The simplest is basically when you wake up in the morning, you put your feet on the ground to say, I know you're there, Earth. I mean, she knows we're really busy. She knows that we have a lot on our mind, but she does want recognition. And so it could be as simple as that, of just feeling her beneath your feet when you're walking around and going, hi, I know you're there. If any of the listeners have lost loved ones, it's like when you talk to those loved ones on the other side, you know, that's how it is. You could talk to Earth like that. Like you really could just tell her what you're feeling. There's a recognition that she's in partnership with you. She wants to build an intimate relationship, a friendship. The other piece is, it is one of our main goals to be here in relationship to Earth. And when you start recognizing that, you do add meaning to your life quite a lot. But it's like it's like when you figure out what your goal is, or when you're in school and you go, oh my God, I just figured out what I want to do. You know, this is what I'm going to get my degree in. You know, it gives you meaning. And when you really recognize that you're meant to be here in relationship with your soul and with Earth as one, it gives you meaning. It gives you, it's a beacon of guidance for you. So just starting off with that. And then holding the other one is just holding that intention of connecting your energy to her. And we could, in a moment, do a meditation that is all about holding the intention of bringing your energy into Earth's core and seeing that fusion take place and becoming one with her energetically, and then bringing that up into your body and your energetic bodies. I call them meditations, but they're actually way more than that. They're healings. You do that 10, 15 minutes a day, you're going to start feeling significant change in your life. Mm-hmm. And the effects are tenfold in what it does to her and what it does to us. You really do cultivate compassion. You'll feel her love. And then there are the things like recycling, all those things that you talked about. But what's different when you step into this relationship with her, doing those things takes on a different level of, I don't want to use the word urgency, but almost a different level of importance. It's like she's become so much more personal.
Because
right?
You're caring for a loved one and a life partner, not an inanimate object that's just a responsibility.
Right. It's not so abstract. It's very personal. And so, you know, a lot of people end up doing this meditation before they go to bed or when they first wake up in the morning. Mm-hmm. Some people do it all day long, especially in COVID. It's helped a lot of people in that, you know, a lot of people have lost their work and such. And people that have been doing this work with Earth, they have been writing into me saying, I would have been so much more anxious if I wasn't doing this work. And they're feeling this, again, this level of calm that they haven't experienced before. They're rolling with it, right? It keeps you in the present. Mm-hmm. So the first thing is intention. So you just hold the intention of, I want to connect to Earth in a more intimate way. And you don't have to be psychic to do this. You don't have to have a strong intuitive. It's just holding that intention. And then feeling her beneath you, feeling her around you. And one of the other effects of doing this is you start to notice the elements more. Mm-hmm. You start to notice these details. So if you're a gardener, you know how you walk around, you check other people's gardens out, and you notice the details in the flowers, and it gives you a moment of joy, right? Yeah. So when you start connecting to Earth daily, it gives you that level of experience that goes deeper in the details, the small, beautiful details. And the wind and the rain take on intimate quality that gives you, again, these moments of joy. And they're brief moments of joy. And for some people, they might be longer, but they start building on each other. And you find that you don't need what you thought you needed. You know, it goes back to that internal abundance, that everything you need is already there. Yeah. So is now a good time to do the meditation?
Sure. Okay. Let's do it.
All right, so you're going to take in, a good way to begin this is to take in 3 deep breaths. And in that, you're going to hold the intention of connecting to Earth. So you're going to take in 3 deep breaths in through your nose, exhaling out your mouth. And just to be aware, it's a good time to check into how your body feels. So if you notice any discomfort, or any tension, you want to breathe into that area and release that on your exhale out your mouth. And you want to notice the sounds and the temperature of the space you're in. Just note how your body feels. And you're going to imagine roots or cords of light coming out of your spine, your legs, your feet, your arms, your hands. And these roots or cords of light go down through your floor, down through the surface of Earth, down into the soil. And they just glide down effortlessly. And you may feel the coolness of her soil. And here you're going to take another deep breath, and you want to engage in your senses, your smell, your taste, your feeling, your intuitive senses. And on the exhale, we're going to drop those roots even farther down. They go down through rocks and stones, water and minerals, just gliding down easily and gently down through bedrock. We're going down, down to the crystalline core of Earth, where her consciousness is. You're seeing those roots, those cords of light, move down into this core, where you will see a river of light. And you're going to anchor your roots into this light. And you want to see your energy fuse with Earth's energy to become one. And this is where you're going to say to yourself, I am connected to Earth, and Earth is connected to me. I support Earth, and Earth supports me. I heal Earth, and Earth heals me. I love Earth, and Earth loves me. We are one, we are one, we are one. And you're going to bring that energy of oneness when you're ready, up through your roots, up through those cords. You're drawing in that energy. This is how we're meant to be here. And you see that energy move up through her core, up through the bedrock and the crystals, just rising up easily, up through water and stone and rocks, and minerals and soil, up through the surface of earth, up into your body. And you want to see this energy move throughout your body. You want to see the light move, circulate through your body and around your body. And you're going to command that every cell in your body accept this light to heal you and bring you peace. And just be in that light for a moment. And I'm going to continue to do some healing here. And some of you, when you're in this meditation connecting to earth, may feel tingling all over. You may feel pressure pulling you down, the gravity of it. Some may feel lightness. Some just may feel relaxed. There's no right or wrong. It's a very personal experience. And you may hear her voice. You may feel her love, her touch, her connection. It might be a sense of knowing. Some of you might see her in your mind's eye, your third eye, your soul's eye, your womb. And as you're laying there, you can lay there for however long you want. You could fall asleep. It still works. Or if you want to begin your day, this is a good way to do that. And you're going to bring your attention, so take 3 more breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. And you're going to bring your attention back into your body, in the space that you're in. And you may feel your toes wiggle and your fingers. And know that you're connected to earth the rest of the day or evening. And that you could do this every day, even if it's just for a minute. And you're healing her and she's healing you. You're connecting to her and she's connected to you. You're one with her. And take in another deep breath and then slowly open your eyes and notice the things around you. So it's that simple. It's that, all of that, that's all you have to do. That's the simplest way to do it. It doesn't have to be complicated or take a lot of time.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Rachel. I encourage any listeners who really liked that practice to listen to it a couple more times until you realize how simple it is, because several years ago, some of the healers I was working with started leading me through grounding to earth, and I didn't really get it initially. And I'm someone who's been very attuned to nature since I was a toddler. Right. So I'm definitely a nature person, a plant person, a rock and mineral person, absolutely a tree person. But the connecting directly to Earth's energy, for me initially, it was very abstract. And I learned at first, okay, to kind of do it mentally. I'm visual. People have different, some people are more kinesthetic. So I could envision it. But what I really want to emphasize for people is that it took me a while to grow into the practice. And so I think some people are going to learn this. They can be introduced to it by someone like you, Rachel, and they've got it. It drops right in. But if you're someone who feels like this is wonderful, but you don't quite get it, just keep practicing and listen again to what Rachel just offered, because maybe the first time that you experience it, it sounds like, oh, that was a meditation that took a few minutes, and I'm not quite sure how I would do that on my own. But as you said, Rachel, it is really simple, and it just takes a little bit of practice and kind of growing into what it's like to be in this energetic, conscious relationship with Earth. Now I can drop into that in a moment. And
Right.
So I just really want to emphasize for people, this may happen for you quickly, or it may be something you practice a little bit, but it becomes very easy and very intimate and very exciting.
Right. I mean, it's nothing. When I was learning how to be more intuitive, I tried so hard, and I wasn't getting it because I was trying so hard. I was using this. You don't have to use your mind in this. This is all about just feeling. Like you could turn your mind off and just feel it. But yeah, practice. There's a free meditation on my website at vast-earth.com, and it's connecting to Earth meditation. It's just like the one we did here. So either will help, get you into that place where it feels second nature.
Yeah. It's just building a new relationship, just like with your neighbor or a new colleague or a new friend.
Yeah. And she's so appreciative when you do it. She's just got gallons of gratitude for anyone that connects to her. So
wonderful.
Yeah.
What else are you or Earth recommending for people right now who have a sense of wanting to help and contribute? I think more and more people are becoming aware that not only we need a lot of transformation on this planet, but that we are actually very close to enacting it. And so one of the purposes of my work and the various kinds of teaching I do is to point out to people, look at all of the progress happening. Look at the innovation. Look at the new learning programs. Look at the successes that we're having in cleaning up an environmental form of pollution or developing truly sustainable regenerative buildings or agriculture practices. So there really are so many ways to jump in now. And I'm sure some of you listeners are going to be innovating your own unique new contribution. But I'd love to hear you say anything else that you want to offer, Rachel, on for people who are feeling like there is a next level of contribution for them. It may be that this connection practice is the best way to begin. And then, so if that goes extremely well for someone, what else would you love to see people exploring?
Well, that's a good question. And before I got on here to connect with you, I was channeling her. And there's a couple things she would like to say in regards to answer that question. First is she just wants everyone to know that she's always here for us. She recognizes we're going through a very challenging time and that she's always here for us. And what's so great about her that I love is that love and support is so tangible, because we can look out the window and walk outside. The dirt's right beneath us, the tree's right next. I mean, it's so tangible. And just the beauty alone, to me, and I think to a lot of people, is very supportive. But her energy, and when you start doing this connecting, what people get blown away by is the love they feel. Like it's very physical. Her energy is very dense, so we feel it. So she just wants us to know that she's here for us during this time and always. Okay, she's always, and she wants us to connect into her. She wants us to ask her for support. The second thing is she's saying it's not just about COVID, but this time, even before COVID, but let's say really pushing it at the beginning of 2020, this is the time to be accountable for ourselves. She's like, this, you all need to, and she's speaking about the human species, needs to start processing and dealing with your stuff. You need to start healing yourself. And whatever form that is, and earth energy is a great way to heal, but there's lots of things out there. But we need to start being accountable for our own trauma, for the trauma that we've inflicted upon each other, and the trauma that we've inflicted upon the planet and the species. So it's about clearing and healing our wounds and being accountable and taking action in that, and then taking action for something else beyond that. You know, whether it's, again, earth, you love dogs, or you're into human rights, you know, whatever that is. But first you have to really deal with this. But she's saying there's no more time to be complacent. There's not. And so there is a sense of urgency. And her energy is so accelerative. It's going to heal at this rate that is exponential. It is. So if we're going to be accountable and we're going to heal, why not do it with a lot of support, and why not make it efficient? And also to really be vulnerable and be wise, if you can, in that vulnerability and asking for support from her, but from one another, right? Does that make sense? So
Yes.
we need to be supportive of one another, but we also need to ask for it. We need to ask for the help, and we need to be wise on who we ask, because we are vulnerable. But she says we need to get to a place where we're more supportive of each other, even if it's outside of our comfort zone, right? And we're we're in a time that it's required for us to do it at.
Yes.
So that was her message coming forth today, is accountability. Take the time, and we have it now, right? She's healing right now. She feels more rejuvenated, and she wants us to do the same. I mean, not all of us. We're working the front lines. We're busier than ever. Teachers are busier than ever.
Right.
But a lot of us have more time on our hands. And even if we don't have that much time, to just take that time that we can, we owe it to ourselves and each other and to her to start acknowledging our wounds and what we've done, because we hurt ourselves when we're wounded. You know, we end up, our internal thoughts, we berate ourselves, we berate each other. And she's not really in a place to tolerate the level of hate that humans hold. I mean, the energies are horrified by that, the violence. And so she says the way to get through that is to heal. We have to be accountable, and we have to be accountable for ourselves, and we have to support each other. And if not everyone can connect to humans, we're hard to connect to. And like with some clients, like I used to work with a lot of kids, and you know, they grew up in abusive homes. They're not going to want to go around and be supported by another human right away. Yeah. And so I'll say to those people, yeah, we're complex. get your support from earth, get it from an animal, get it from a tree, get it from the plants, the ocean. It doesn't have to be a human. There's a lot of energies. Get it from, the angels or the universe. There's a lot of energies here right now. There's so much benevolent energy here right now to support us and help us through this and to elevate. So if you have a hard time being vulnerable with humans, I totally get it, with people, then be vulnerable with earth. Be vulnerable with the ocean or your dog or your cat or your backyard tree. Really, seriously.
Yeah, I love that. And to me, that message from earth makes a lot of sense, because actually, I think that's what's happening in this time, not only during COVID, but certainly pre-COVID. I see a lot of people stepping up to process their trauma and generational trauma and relieve their burden of fears and anxieties. Not that we get rid of all of it in this lifetime, but to lower their burden and make themselves, I guess I want to say, better partners to themselves, and better partners to other people, and better partners to earth. So I'm very encouraged, because I do see that we're stepping up in our desire for those collaborations with one another and with earth, and our ability to participate in them in a new way.
Yeah, I agree. I feel encouraged by the shift I'm seeing too. More people are speaking up for themselves, but also the injustices out there.
Yes.
Right? It is becoming more stark, more contrast.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long you can look at that contrast and not do anything, whether that's in yourself, right, or in our society.
Yeah. We're seeing it a lot more clearly right now.
Yeah.
Well, this has been delightful, Rachel. In our remaining minutes, I would love to hear you tell us anything that you want to tell us about what you're offering or bringing forth in your work right now. And then we'll close, leaving listeners or viewers of this video with your vision, something that you like to imagine or envision when you think about how beautiful life on this planet can be as we step forward in our healing of humanity and the earth and our human earth collaboration. So
that's a great way to end.
I'll give you those two areas to cover.
Okay, thank you. So Vast Earth is the business, and every Saturday at 10 a.m. I do a group healing meditation, which is similar to what we did. And it is a deep healing, and it's all about connecting you to earth, the elements of earth, and to your oversoul. And it's a healing. I also do what's called an intensive series every month or every 6 weeks or so. And it's through Zoom. So this is all through Zoom right now. And it starts with, again, there are these hour-long meditations. And in the series, we go up and we heal the oversoul. We start there, and then we start with this, and then we go to the spiritual body, the mental, emotional body, the etheric, and the physical body, and really heal the organs and the immune system. So that's twice a week, Tuesday and Thursdays, for 10 sessions. So people can either join on Saturday healing or the intensive series healing. And I still do some individual healing over the phone. I also do what's called plant medium, which are plant essences and a facial serum that was downloaded with earth. And there's joy, calm. They're for depression, they're for anxiety, they're for spiritual connection, and for releasing fear and those blocks that get in the way of your goals. So there's 4 plant essences, and then there's a rock and facial serum that have 25 organic ingredients of essential oils.
Yes, I have to say, I love the facial serum. I don't use very many products, but I really love the facial serum. It smells wonderful, like many, many plants. And
Yeah, thank
it's
you.
my little morning luxury.
Yeah, I developed it because it was fun, and I wanted to know what I was putting on my skin. You know, so that's what Vast Earth is. That's what Plant Medium. If you're interested, you can go to my website or email me directly at info@vast-earth.com. I'll also have the book out. Hopefully this summer. There's a publisher looking at it now. And there's 2 free meditations, one called COVID meditation and Connecting to Earth meditation. You just go to the store and you can download it for free. My vision for a better Earth, what I like to see is everyone to have their own garden. I see people having more gardens, more community gardens, more awareness around where our food comes from. You know, I have this mantra, and when I speak to people in my groups and such, I'm always like bees and trees, bees and trees. I see more bees, I see more trees. I see people, I do see this, and especially with the younger generations, people are connected. There's an awareness, there's a connection to Earth that feels very visceral. And this is, again, a beacon, a guiding system to what is principled in our life, you know? And it builds love and it builds compassion. And I see that stark contrast dissolving. That's what I see. Support.
So beautiful. Yeah, I thought of the word nourishment as you were talking. Nourishment for bees, and bees nourishment for plants, and the trees nourishment of us, and our nourishing reciprocal care for them, plus the carbon dioxide oxygen exchange between us and plants, and people genuinely nourishing ourselves with real food and real nature connection and connection to one another.
Right. It's just I see people on an energetic level feeling like they're part of that Gaian web. Like the awareness of being in that web is kind of the utopia that I like to envision, you know, and that balance and the awareness of what their actions are. And I really don't want to come from a hyper politically correct place at all by saying this. But just moving in these steps towards that, being that awareness that we are all connected, whether we know it or not, we are, and that our actions, it is that drop in the ocean, right?
Yes, we are all connected, and your work really helps us to deepen our sense of our Earth connection. So thank you for that. Again, you can find Rachel's work at vastearth.com. I really encourage you to explore her website and her offerings, re-listen to today's audio or review the video if you'd like to experience that meditation again, or download a very similar one at Rachel's website. If you'd like to hear more from Humans and Earth, you can follow us on the social media pages that are linked in the show notes. And thank you for listening today. Thank you so much, Rachel. It was really a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you.
I know that you join me in my intention of humans healing Earth and letting Earth heal us.
Thank you, Helen. I appreciate it.